Hello, everybody. A warm welcome to all of you. My name is Shreya, and I am a Senior Program Manager at Skillenza. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us for the second webinar for Entrepreneur First IDthon. Today's session will be really different from the last one. So, we have Mr. Anil Macha, who's the co founder and CEO at Vadu, joining us today. So Anil is actually an alumni of Entrepreneur First, and he would be sharing his experience with everybody today. Thank you so much, Anil, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya.
So the host for today's session is Mr. Ashwin Chandra, who is the entrepreneur in residence at EF. So thank you so much, Ashwin, for hosting the session today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So this is actually going to be a very wonderful opportunity for all of you participants because we would be having Anil and Ashwin answering a lot of questions and sharing their wonderful experience and journey at EF. So please do not forget to drop in your questions in the comment box. So over to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shreya. So for those of you that were here on Tuesday's session, we ran through how EF works and how we invest super early in promising talents and help them build venture-backable companies. Anil happened to go through this process himself. In fact, he started off in February as an individual. Now he's a CTO of a successful business. He's been through the process of going through different teams, working through different ideas, and he's seen the entire journey end to end, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to understand a bit more about his experience and ask very open questions, right? I know, again, super guy, very open guy, so he'll be able to give you an insider's view on what the entire EF journey is like, right? So with that in mind, I just want to hand it over quickly to Anil to introduce himself. He's got a very interesting background. So Anil, why don't you start off by letting people know what you did before you joined EF, and then maybe like why you pursued entrepreneurship and saw EF as a program.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ashwin. Thanks for the introduction. So with regards to myself, I have always been interested in being an entrepreneur as such, but I thought like I'll first be part of industry, see how it works, see how to collaborate with people and work on products, and then probably jump into entrepreneurship. Right. So when I graduated from IIT Delhi, I joined in Cisco. I was working on networking applications there, which had the ability to like scale up to a lot of users at that point of time. And then I moved on to Samsung, and I was working on building AI products, mostly for Samsung flagship phones. So this is my background as such. So I was mostly in the tech part, building products mostly related to AI and similarly networking applications. That is what I was doing before joining Entrepreneur First. And then two of the major things that stopped me from joining being an entrepreneur is like finding a business founder. Most of the friends of myself, right? So they are also having similar tech background, but you know that people having complementary skills will be much more useful than people having similar skill set, right? So that is one thing which was stopping me. And similarly, another thing is like finding good people who can mentor you, like Ashwin and various other people who are part of EF. Right? So these were the two things which I was lacking as such, and which stopped me like taking the push into being an entrepreneur. And yeah, I saw EF, I like read about it and like gone through the videos of people who have been part of the program, and then I understood that okay, this is the thing which would work very well for me in solving the two problems that I have stated, right? So that's how I jumped onto the ship and I started. I applied for the program and yeah, success. Uh, by like success, I was like able to like go through the program, and then yeah, I was able to like build a business. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was actually super lucky to have interviewed Anil as well. So we go back right from that stage to throughout the program as well when we worked together. But Anil, you did some very cool stuff at Samsung. Why don't you take a minute to sort of run through the kind of stuff that you're working on over there?
Yeah, sure. So I was working on two AI products, particularly at Samsung. So one was the called Bixby Lens. So it is very similar to Google Lens in functionality. So whenever you project your camera at any product, right? So what we do is we search through all the internet and see what is the relevant products that we can show as a recommendation. So for example, you might be interested in buying it out, right? So that is something we were doing, and everything was happening on device, right? So that is the crazy thing about it in Samsung, that if you see any AI asset in any product, say Google or any other company, they actually use a cloud-based service. But Samsung does everything on edge because they don't want your data to go anywhere. And so that is the major point there. So we had to build something which works on mobile and which needs to like do real time. So that was the major stuff. And similarly, I was working on another product called AI Gallery as well. So this is think of like Google search on your phone, right? So in Google search, what can happen? For example, if you're trying to search something, right, you might be getting relevant results, all the images relevant for that, right? So that's what happens in Google. But if you want to do the same thing on your phone, so for example, if you want to like search the images of like you playing frisbee, right? So how can you do that? So that is the product that we have worked on. So these are the two products that I have worked on while at Samsung.
Fantastic. And I'm just going to zoom forward to present day. You're now working on something that's very different, right? So why don't you tell everyone what Vadu does right now?
Yeah, sure. So we are trying to solve video streaming challenges using P2P and AI. So my co-founder, he's especially from a background where he has worked on video products, various video products in few of the startups he is part of. So he understood that there are a lot of challenges involved when streaming video over the internet. So some of the challenges are like there are a lot of costs involved. So 40% of the technical costs are for the video streaming CDNs that you spend as such, any technical platform. So that is one major thing for maybe any startup which is coming into this space. Another thing is if they watch the content at the same time, right? So there is a lot of buffering and latency and as such. These are due to the network conditions that are present at this point of time, especially with data and similarly the phone calls going on the same network, right? So there is a lot of congestion as such. So this is another problem. And the third problem being especially relevant for India is most of the people who watch the content, they are present in tier 2, tier 3 cities, but the content is being served from tier 1 cities, right? Because of this, it becomes very difficult to like provide a very good service to the people who are very distant from the service. So these are the three major challenges, and we try to solve it using various technologies. Like as I mentioned, we were using P2P and AI. Using both these technologies, we were trying to solve these major challenges. Yeah.
Awesome. And my next question to you is, when you first joined the program, right? Like, how did you go about initially finding a potential co-founder and to lock down on exactly what it is that you wanted to work on?
Yeah, right. So initially, I was a little bit hesitant to move a bit away from my background as such, but afterwards, after interacting with the people, right, I was more open to like exploring more opportunities because I understand that technical thing is not the major thing, but what is more important is the opportunity or the problem statement, right? So when a problem statement is big enough, like you can tweak your technical skills and work on something which might be a little bit different from what you're working on at the previous point of your experience as well. So I was looking at people I was able to like find a synergy with and similarly come up with a problem statement which is as big as possible, right? So initially I tried to work with people who have found synergy with, but again we had breakups just like any other people who are part of EF. So that happened, but anyway, that happened for the good only. Then I again found my current co-founder. So what we did at this point of time is like before even forming a team, right? So we went through a hackathon kind of a thing. So for 2 days, we were trying to build something very simple and see if we can work together. Our work styles match, right? So if they match, probably like we can go further and work for the next period of time. So that is how we got on board and started working on the current problem statement.
Fantastic. And speak a bit more about the breakups, right? So I think a lot of people that haven't been through the EF program don't really understand, like, oh, how can you break up with a potential co-founder? Like, how was that entire process for you?
Yeah, so it's actually a little bit painful sometimes, but yeah, it is for the better only. So the thing, what happens is you need to see if the wavelength is matching across the founders, right? So whether your working styles or like maybe your ideologies are matching or not, right? So if they are matching, then you can go ahead. But if you feel like after being part of a team and if you are not able to move together better, right? So if you are not better than the sum of the parts, then it doesn't make sense to go forward as such, right? So similarly, the mentors play a very good part in telling whether you are progressing or not progressing, whether you should go forward with the team or break up and find a new other person, right? So that is how the process worked. And yeah, that is how I had two breakups as well. So one breakup even before joining the EF and another breakup after joining the EF. But again, everything happened very fast. So in that way, I was very lucky. So because if a breakup happens towards the end of the program, right, it becomes much more difficult. So that is why even EF encourages you to like have a breakup as much fast as possible and try different things and see where you can settle down and go forward and work on your product.
Nice. And your cohort was a very tricky cohort, right? I of course have super high amounts of respect for all of you guys because your cohort was mid-pandemic, right? When we started off in Feb, the world was rosy, and then all of a sudden the rug got pulled out from under us. How did you go about that, especially with Ankur and you being remote? Like, how did you maintain like a good relationship in that?
Yeah. So one good thing, at least for us, was like we are not a complete remote cohort. So in that way, like we had at least a relationship for 1.5 months before we separated and like we started working remotely. So in that time, we were able to like build a good rapport working together as such. And similarly, the ideation process was over. We were more on like execution, traction, and all the stuff. It that way it is much more better, I would say. But I think the current cohort, it is even more difficult, right? Because now you have to do the entire ideation process remote. So that way it was better, but again we were facing challenges again, strategizing things, what to concentrate on, how to go forward with any plan as such. So right now, even now also, like we have like 2 week sprints. Every 2 week we try to work on something and see if it works or if it doesn't work, and try to track our progress. So we used to have daily calls during the sprint as well. So that way it was much more better and we were able to like get the things done faster.
Hey Shreya, in case you're in the background, is it just me or has Anu frozen?
I think Anil has frozen.
Okay, ironic as he runs a networking company. But let's just wait until he joins back again.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, sorry, there was some connection issue, I guess. So, yeah, I
No
went
worries,
on.
man. Welcome back.
Yeah. So what I was mentioning is like we used to do have some daily tracker as such. So we used to talk at the night time, like see what we have worked on and see how we are progressing as such. And similarly, we used to have weekend goals and yeah, bi-weekly goals, and we used to try to complete it on time to see whether we are going in the right direction or not in the right direction. Similarly, we had very good mentors at EF, so they were able to like guide us in the right direction, even if we are completely remote, right? So that way it was helpful. And also, like we
Awesome.
had very good events at EF, I guess. So even if we are remote, right? So they were trying to engage us in one way or the other, so that there is interaction going on across.
We tried our best, man. It's awesome to see some live questions popping up as well. Anil, I've got a question here from Shravan Gill. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And he asks, like, Anil, if you get a chance to go back to the EF program, what would you do differently?
Actually, if I go back, I wouldn't do anything differently, I guess. So everything panned out very much. I mean, like in the right direction, I would say, for me at least. So there were not any bad things that happened as such. But one thing I would probably do in a better way would be like moving faster. So we were trying to see if something would work and yeah, wait for it to work as such. But now we are like forcing it to work. So that is the one thing, yeah, we would probably do in a much better way, in the sense that you should try to make it happen rather than like waiting for it to happen. This is with respect to like say integrations or like partnerships and stuff like that. So we were hoping that something would, like we had a list of 2 3 people where we thought like okay, this would happen, right? But because of the pandemic, what can happen is like there are a lot of uncertainties and something might not work out, right? So you should always have a backup plan. So always have like if 2 3 people are working not working out, like always like approach 10 12 people, out of them something will click, right? So that is something I would probably do. Other than that, yeah, it has been a smooth ride, I would say, at least for me. Yeah.
That's great. But let's just continue that train of thought because the next question from Urmilesh Tiwari, I think, is along the same lines. And he's basically asking for pointers that people should keep in mind if they get selected. So one of the things that you mentioned is, hey, I'll do better is just move faster and make things happen. Um, Is there anything else that you would recommend that people really keep top of mind if they were to be selected and be part of the program?
Yeah, so get into a team as much fast as possible, because if you lose team, I mean, this is not applicable for me, but this is applicable. I mean, I have seen people who are part of the cohort, right? So what happens is it becomes very difficult for you as a single founder to like work on something and progress as such. So get into a team as much fast as possible and start working on product, because yeah, as I mentioned, you won't be able to like make any progress being a single founder as part of the cohort. So that is one thing I would recommend.
Nice. And if we were to flip the question and say, hey, listen, these are things that you should absolutely not do if you were to be part of the program, what do you think some of those things might be?
Some of the things would be like, don't stay in a team if you feel like it is not working out because you're friends, right? So like there were few friendships in EF, especially like what happened is they were very good friends, but it was not working out as such. So and suddenly after they broke up and like joined other teams, right? They saw like immediate growth in traction and immediate like they were part of I mean they got selected for IC committee because like they were able to like go into teams which had very complementary skills and helped each other as such. So yeah, that would be something I would suggest, I guess. Like don't stay in teams just because you are friends. Break up if you are not finding any traction as such, and like work fast to like get traction as much as possible.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. In fact, it's something that we really stress. If you're really good friends with someone and you're not productive as a team, the best thing you can do for your friend is to let them do something where they are productive, right? So I think it holds true for any startup in life, right? Like you can get along, but really productivity, how much do you move the needle, super, super important. So thanks for bringing that up. I think Shravan is very active. I'm glad to hear that, Shravan. You have another question. Is it mandatory to create teams from the cohort members? I'll take that one. Yes, it is, right? So EF is predominantly a talent investor, right? We want to see great teams, see how productive they are, and see how much they can move the needle, right? And we can do that by observing how they perform on the cohort itself. So you have an opportunity to work with 50 or so different people from various different backgrounds. Use that to your advantage, right? That being said, if you are selected and part of the program and you want your friends to join in, you can always refer them as well, right? We're more than happy to review the candidature on an individual basis and see if they could be a good fit. Ishwar Reddy Muddy has a question. He asks, nice share of experience. I know prior to joining EF, have you thought about a process for business plan and ideas besides your technical strength? On what skill? Okay, I'm not sure if I quite understand this question, but if I were to sort of paraphrase, before EF, did you actually work on the business side of things with any of your ideas on that?
Yeah, so during my college, we were working on a location-based social network, and we were trying to like scale it up across. So that was where like I could say that I worked on the business part a little bit, but we were not able to scale it up across because we were not raising funding. We were trying to grow organically, and you know, like social network needs a lot of funds before you start generating revenue, right? So that's why like we were not able to scale it up at that point of time, and I thought like, okay, I'll first go into corporate world, learn the skills, and again come back to entrepreneurship. So that is my point of contact with business side, but mostly I have been involved in the technical side.
Nice. I hope I got your question correctly, Ishwar. Please comment again if I didn't. I know we have another question here from Ritwick, who asks, has your entrepreneurial skills become stronger thanks to EF? Feel free to be
Yeah.
honest with this answer.
Right. Yeah. So, like, again, as I have mentioned, the first thing, one of the things that actually bothered me was like having a mentorship, right? So, whenever you are evaluating an idea or like a strategy or anything you are working on, right? So, you don't know whether you are going in the right direction or not. But there are people like Ashwin who has already worked on few startups during their course, and they are successful startups. So, like, they have much more experience and they can guide you in a better way, saying what you are doing is whether it is going in the right direction or not right direction. Actually, I mean, it's true that nobody knows, yeah, whether something is true or not. I mean, whether something is working or not. But again, experience always helps, and having experienced people like Ashwin and various other people's helps, and similarly learning from my business co-founder. So as I have mentioned, I am mostly in the technical side, so I got to learn a lot from my co-founder Ankur, who has had experience of like building a startup before coming here. So that is, these are the two things actually that helped me like get more sense of like how this entrepreneurship works, because I was capable of like building a product, but I was not very sure like how do you actually take a product to market and sell it across, and how do you scale these things as such, like what are all the different channels that you can use to like grow much faster. All these things I was not exactly sure before joining here. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to that, like that, I've worked pretty closely with Anu, and there's definitely been a growth trajectory over there, right? Especially when it comes to the business side of things, the amount that he contributes to the discussion and conversation as well. It's at least personally, it's been a pleasure to watch. So but that's also a function of what Anu did on the program, right? It's there, people are there for you to learn from, but it's up to you to go out and get it. It's not like an educational course that we're running, right? This is an opportunity for talented, motivated people to create impact, and it's really up to you to come on here and make the most out of it. And I think Anna was one of the people that definitely did that. I think we have a question here from Ansuman, who asks, what is EF looking for in a candidate? Good question, Ansuman. So what we're basically looking for are people that are outliers within their peer group, right? And this could be from various fields. So if we're talking about commercial skill sets, then we're looking for people that are just really good at what they do, right? Similarly, from a technical background, we're just looking at people that are at the top 10% based on either academic or professional achievements, right? And we're most importantly looking for people that are ambitious and they want to create impactful business out of this, right? So everyone that joins the program, they want to change the world fundamentally and use their own expertise to create ideas and businesses that can do that, right? So that's the main thing that we look for. Obviously, it changes from candidate to candidate based on your background. But listen, if you're smart, if you're super ambitious, right, and if you want to be a founder, then this is something that this might be an interesting program for you. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is from Akanksha. How did networking with fellow entrepreneurs at EF help you out? Great question. Anil, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So EF actually brings you a bunch of 50 people who are like specialized in various backgrounds. So like few of them are from business backgrounds, some of them are PhDs, and then some of them are like Catalyst founders like me, right? So what happens is when you interact with all these people from different backgrounds, right, you get to actually cross-pollinate a lot and generate ideas which are not possible if you are working with people who are having similar kind of background. So that is one thing. And similarly, another thing which is very helpful is like getting to know the experiences of the people who have already been in this kind of a scenario. So like my co-founder who has already been a startup founder, and similarly other people who are already have like experience selling our products, right? So it is awesome to like learn from all of them like how everything work as such for someone who is not aware of like how to build a business from scratch, right? And also one more thing I would probably say is yeah, this cross pollination thing only, like if people from different background are there, right? So that would help a lot, which was not present anywhere else, I guess. Like I mean, especially for being a technical co-founder, it becomes very difficult and like building a business until and unless you work with someone who is from the business background. Yeah.
Nice, thanks, man. The next question is from Anirudh Goyal, who asks, will this question be remote or does one have to come down to Bangalore? Well, Anirudh, our expectation is that everyone that joins the next cohort is in Bangalore for the program. Reason being, as Anil said, they had that initial head start of, meeting one-on-one in person, developing a relationship and working very closely, right? It works best in person. The program itself, in terms of the content that's delivered and the sessions that you might have with your mentors and advisors, that bit might be remote, but as long as everyone's in the city, we'll have ways in which we can meet up and interact. So it'll be a mixture of both remote as well as offline.
Yeah, also like one more point I forgot to
it.
tell about networking part. So I just thought to mention. So one more thing is when you are starting out building a business, right? So you can actually get a lot of contacts from internally as well, right? So that is one more thing which is very much helpful. So for example, if you say that I'm building some product, right, when you talk to people who are already in this cohort, you will immediately get references to like a lot of people who have done businesses in similar area who could be your prospective clients. So that is one more advantage of being in a very diverse cohort like this. Yeah.
Nice, thanks for sharing. Um, Next question, Money Garg. How many teams get funding after the cohorts? Well, EF has a mandate to fund every team that goes through the program, right? As long as you are creating an impactful business in a differentiated, defensible way, addressing a massive market, we're game, right? Historically, what happens is roughly about 50% of the teams that are formed get funded, but that changes cohort to cohort. It really is up to depends on the quality of the founders, the ideas that they're working on, and how impactful the businesses are potentially going to be. Ooh, that was quite a lot of questions. Thanks, guys. I think while we wait for some more questions, I'll ask you some more. I know, like, I'd love to know a bit about your view on traction, right? Obviously, from idea to actually being a business, there's a lot to do, a lot to de-risk. Um, how did you go about building up traction, and what kind of very early traction did you see that gave you a lot of confidence in the idea that you're building?
Yeah, so we have tried out different avenues to build the traction. One is the online way, one is the offline way. So the first thing we try to test out is like reach out to people who we know as such in the similar space and see if they are interested in buying out this kind of a product. So this actually goes to my co-founder who is from like worked on building social products, right? So he reached out to people who are his friends and asked like out, like I mean friends and their acquaintances, not exactly friends, and see if something like this is, I mean, what are the challenges you are facing and what do you want to have and what kind of product you would wish to have. So these are the different kinds of questions we got to ask, like, and that is how we got a sense of like, okay, this is the thing that market needs at this point of time, and then we try to see like sell, say if we want able to like bring this product, would you be interested to pay for it, right? So then we got like initial interest from a lot of social startups, so that actually pushed us in the direction that okay, this is something people are happy to pay for, right? So then we started working on the product. Similarly, afterwards we were part of GeoGen Next. So there is that is one accelerator for accelerating startups, which might be helpful for working with geo ecosystem. So again, getting validation from them that okay, this is a very interesting problem statement to work on, and that could be something very helpful for someone in the media industry. So these are the two things which actually pushed us saying that okay, this can be a very interesting thing to like build upon. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, we got a question here from Urmilesh again, who's saying, I'm getting some traction with my business. Will EF be a good platform to take it further? Urmilesh, we invest in individuals pre-idea, right? So if you have an existing idea and you're an individual and you want to find people that could potentially join that idea, great. It's a platform for you to explore, right? However, if you're really set on a business and that's what you want to do, then you're best off doing that, right? What EF allows you to do is explore a whole set of ideas that was completely foreign to you before, right? So again, like if you look at Anil's sort of journey and the kind of things that he was working on Samsung and what he's doing right now, it's completely different, right? And part of that was also the fact that you could mix with so many different people with different backgrounds, different experiences, and really see like, hey, where is it that I can add the most value, right? So a lot of the founders that come onto our program have hunches or ideas that they'd like to work on, but they're always flexible and open-minded, seeing, okay, what is the most impactful? What's the best thing to do? So if that's your attitude, then great. EF is something that you should definitely consider and apply to. If you've got an existing business that's already running, then focus on that existing business, right? So that would be my 2 cents on that. Cool. I know you've been so nice to share the platform with us and share a few words. I want to throw it back to you. Obviously, Vadu is doing some pretty cool stuff right now. If you would like to showcase and speak a bit more about the company that you're building right now, like feel free. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So as I have already discussed, we were trying to solve problems in video streaming using various solutions, not only the current solution, but various as many solutions as possible. So some of the problems any person who is coming to the space faces is like, as I mentioned, costs and buffering and all those things. But there is another problem as such. That problem is like they don't have a lot of expertise building a social platform. So what you see generally in this COVID pandemic is that many businesses are trying to come online, right? So say Zoom or an online class or anything as such, right? So especially the edutech is in a boom, right? So all these platforms need a way to like distribute content, be it for online classes or any other situation as such, but they don't have the what you say bandwidth to like build a team to build out this entire stuff, wait for 6 months or 10 months like to get the entire platform running. So we are trying to solve all those problems as such. So the first solution that we brought out is like using the SDK to like reduce the cost and similarly improve the latency and stuff like that. But the second product that we are bringing out right now is an end-to-end live streaming API or video delivery API, using which you can go live in few minutes. So that is something we are working on as such right now. So for example, if you want to build a platform where you want to deliver content live to like thousands of people right now, right? So for example, YouTube is doing that right now. So StreamYard, what it is doing is it is pushing the stream to YouTube, and like you are able to view the content from YouTube, right? So, but if you want to do it on your own website, right? So it would be a lot of technical things involved. So we are trying to like remove everything as such. So it would be like just click a button and you can go live, just like how it is happening right now in StreamYard. But instead of doing it on YouTube, you can do it on your own platform and keep a paywall and various other stuff like that. So these are all the things that we have been working on at this point of time. So yeah, I can share a demo in case if anyone is interested to like see how P2P works as such.
Yeah, go for it, Anand.
Yeah. So like I will just give a brief of what is P2P technology as. So whenever you are watching any content, right? So for example, the content that you are watching at this point of time, you are downloading the content, and a lot of people are downloading the content at the same time, right? So they are downloading from a server called as CDN. So CDN is the server from which the content is being distributed. So again, as I mentioned, CDN costs are one of the major technical costs that are involved in video streaming. So what we do is, instead of like fetching all the content from CDN, we can distribute the load across the users who are watching the content concurrently at the same time, right? So for example, if me and you are watching the same content, what I can do is I can fetch the content from you rather than fetching the content from a CDN, which can be existing in a faraway location. So that is how our product works. So I'll show a demo for you to like get more understanding of how it works as such. So let me share my screen. So as you can see, HTTP represents the content that is being served from CDN, whereas P2P represents the content that is being served from the peer who is concurrently watching the content. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to add new peers. So whenever I add a new peer, right? So initially, few of the content will be fetched from the CDN, but the later part of the content will be fetched from peers. So as you can see, initial part of the content is fetched from the CDN, but the later part of the content is being fetched from a peer. So as you add more peers, you will see the savings increasing. So currently this is a VOD platform, but if it is a live streaming platform, you can see that the savings are as high as like say 90%, right? So that is how it works. As you add more peers, if you are having like 10 peers concurrently watching the stream, you can see that the savings can go as high as like 80% to 90%. So we are building a lot of live streaming solutions and providing software relevant to that. So if you are interested in building any startup in this space, right? So for example, you see a lot of startups coming in this space. So few of them are like celebrities sharing content with people. So like there is one startup recently came called as Boss.live, where celebrities can sell goods directly to the people. And there are various other these kinds of live streaming platforms and various other streaming platforms coming up. So if you are interested in building such a product, and if you want to like use the service directly instead of like building out everything by yourself, which will take a lot of time, right? So you can directly come to us, so you can talk to us, we can help you in building the product and yeah, scaling it up across to as many users as possible.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Anil.
Yeah, so
So
thanks.
yeah,
Thanks
I just want to remind everyone that this product did not exist 6 months ago, right? Well, 6 months ago it did exist, yeah. 7 months ago, right? Anil and Ankur weren't a team then as well. They had no idea on what they were working on. They had no idea that each other existed. And we're at a stage right now where they're probably one of the best positioned companies in India to solve this entire problem for a range of players, right? Which is super exciting stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that we're also really proud of at EF for helping facilitate, right? So if you would like to be an entrepreneur, right? If you need a platform that allows you to freely explore ideas, right? If you need a platform that can connect you to potential co-founders, then I encourage you to apply, right? We have our application link on the hackathon page, right? So you can find it over there. I think the emails that Scalenza send out have the application link as well. And yeah, feel free to also take part in the hackathon. That should be fun. You can enjoy and explore a few ideas, but don't let that stop you from applying for the program itself. We are almost full with the next cohort. We have a handful of spaces left. So if you are interested, now is the time to really apply and see if you can get in and have a similar trajectory like Anil.
Yeah, also one more point I would want to add is the competition increases over a period of time. So if you see the cohorts, right? So the number of applicants who are applying for EF, I mean, EF is getting as much popular as you can see right now. So it becomes more and more tough to get into EF. So I would say that get into it as and when you get a chance. So that is something I would suggest all of you. So yeah, many of my friends have tried to apply to the platform, but they were not able to go through the platform because of the wide range of applicants they were getting at this point of time. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that plug, Anil. Great. I think we're all done here. Guys, if we can hang around for another minute in case there are any other burning questions that are coming in. Otherwise, feel free to leave comments. We'll try our best to address it. And also, you can get in touch with Scalenza team with any like hackathon related comments, and they'll get back to you.
So there was a question in the hackathon, can you submit more than one idea? Shreya, do you want to take that question?
Yes, of course. So, in case your idea, like you have multiple ideas that can, like, that you potentially feel can make it up to EF, definitely. You can definitely submit multiple ideas. Looks like we've lost Ashwin.
Yeah, so it seems like there was a power cut. Hopefully, you should be back.
Okay.
Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box in YouTube. Happy to answer.
Absolutely. In case any of you have any questions, please feel free to post it. Okay. In the meantime, we have Rishabh. So he can, in case Rishabh has anything to share, please feel free to do that, Rishabh.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for really joining us today. And I think there's a power cut. Sadly, Ashwin had to go. Do let us know if there are any other question. We are just here for a couple of more seconds, and we'll take if we get few.
So there were two more questions. What is the final presentation stage in either idea zone and how is it structured? So
I guess Ashwin is back. Ashwin, can you hear us? Okay, I am not sure.
But Shreya, do you want to take that question? Like, what is the final presentation stage in ideas,
Sure,
or how is it
sure.
structured?
So, your final presentation basically should include everything which is required from EF's end, that is the problem statement which you are addressing, your solution, your market potential, and a founder market fit. So, additionally, if you have a mock-up or a wireframe of your website, that would definitely be helpful while you make a presentation, because that would essentially provide some sort of an idea to the judges while they evaluate your submissions.
Hey, sorry guys, my power went off. Very bad timing. Shreya, is there any question that I need to answer or anything that I missed?
Uh, as of now, I guess we have covered all the questions, but in case anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop that in the comment box. Happy to take that up.
Yeah, so there is
Okay.
one question from Anshuman, I guess. So he was asking, like, can we submit more than one idea? So you mentioned we can submit more than one idea, but he was saying like the form has only one section.
So basically, if anybody can club their ideas together, and because the section essentially indicates that you have to make a file submission of a presentation of your idea. So in a single presentation, if you can probably club both the ideas and submit that, that would be great.
Guys, although you can submit more ideas if you want to, I would strongly recommend that you put all your energy into coming up with one great idea, right? That's very compelling. Again, your time is constricted, right? So use all that effort, come up with something that's really impactful, compelling. Stick to one idea if you can and just submit that. Cool. Shreya, is it okay if we take the other questions later on?
Yes, absolutely. That would be great.
Yeah? Awesome. Cool, guys. I just want to take a minute again to thank Anil for his time. Really, really exciting to see his journey. Very excited to see what he's going to build in the future. If any of you are, thinking of doing anything with video streaming, then get in touch with Anil. Check out Baru. It's a fantastic company, and who knows, maybe it's really impactful for your startup as well. That's it from me. Anil, do you have any last words?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned already the last words. Like, yeah, so this is the right time to go in as such. So don't delay it. Whenever you get a chance, like get into the platform as such. So it should be a great experience at least, I guess. So whether you are successful or not successful as part of the program, yeah, as per the experience, it should be great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks again, man. All right, Shreya, I think that's it from us. Thanks a lot, Scalenza, for hosting us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anil and
Right.
Ashwin. It was a really informative session. I hope everybody had a lot of fun today and they got all the answers to what they were looking for.
All right.
All right.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.